Hello, everybody, and thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. So, I was eating something. I'm not ashamed to say that, every now and then I get, like some water or something like something, in between. So, I'm not perfect, but I mentioned this in a previous this video I just did that relationships can be complicated. And so, I don't think that people really understood me that people will go a long ways to do things to get rich, even if it means marrying people and killing them. Murdered for money, 5 cases that show how far people will go to cash in. And this is by a Makita Rivas and a Sophia Frioli. And so it says the deadly rich. And so I personally had an experience with a family member, a loved one who passed away. Well, actually, they were murdered. And I was the wife or the former wife might have had a hand in his being gunned down. So this is something that is prevalent in some of these relationships, believe it or not. Some people are not aware of this. But as it says, murdered for money. Okay, so this is called the Deadly Rich series. So money often makes everything messier, including and perhaps especially murder. So CNBC, new primetime original series Deadly Rich, takes viewers inside the lives of those who were driven to commit deadly acts, all in the name of financial gain. These people come from all walks of life, but they are united in their relentless quest to get rich quick, no matter the cost. The first episode of The Deadly Rich dives into the murders of the Miami Fontainebleau hotel heir, Ben Novak Jr., and his mother, Bernice Novak. When Novak Jr. is found murdered in the New York hotel room, the secrets of his unconventional life come spilling out. So his wife, Narcy Novak, soon becomes a key figure in both of these gruesome killings. So the Novaks aren't unique victims. Money is often a prime motive in murder cases. So we rounded up 4 other examples of people whose obsession with cash or money, that is, may have led them to do the unthinkable acts. So Yoloma Curry Walker, case 1. Just 4 months after marrying her firefighter husband, William Walker, Yoloma Curry Walker asked her then 17-year-old daughter and her daughter's boyfriend to find someone to take his life. The reason? She wanted to collect $100,000 in insurance money. But as was the case, Narcy Novak's solicited murder didn't quite go as planned. So Curry Walker's husband hadn't changed the beneficiary on the insurance policy from his ex-wife's name to Curry Walker's when he was killed. So it was the ex-wife who ended up getting the payout. Although Curry Walker wrote a confession the day she surrendered to police, saying that she had killed her husband because he was abusive, her attorneys didn't call any witnesses to testify that Walker had been violent towards his wife. After being found guilty of aggravated murder and conspiracy, she was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Keisha Satchberg and Anthony Blum. This mother according to the testimony, Blum and Satchberg planned the killings because Blum believed that he stood to receive an inheritance of an unspecified amount. The pair met and devised a plan in California and recruited friends to provide guns and drive the getaway car. Ultimately, Blum and Satchberg returned to Roger and Melissa's home in Wichita, Kansas, where they shot the couple in the head while they were sitting in a car. So to avoid the death penalty, Blum and Schatzberg pleaded no contest to aggravated robbery and murder charges. Each were serving life in prison for the murder conviction plus 122 months on aggravated robbery convictions. Alan Herbie, or Ruby, like prime suspect Narcy in the Novak case, Alan Ruby tried to play it cool when detectives zeroed in on him following the murders of his mother, father, and sister. But it didn't take long for the 19-year-old to confess to the 3 killings. His parents had recently cut him off financially due to his over-the-top spending habits, and he was no longer able to fund his lavish lifestyle. When they denied his request of the $3,000 loan to pay off a loan shark, the money-hungry teen took their lives and his sister's life as well, believing he'd then be in a position to inherit their estate. Rugby was convinced of 3 counts of, or he was convicted actually of 3 counts of first-degree murder and is currently serving life in prison without the possibility of parole in Oklahoma. So his story was recently Stacy and Jose Mendoza. Stacy and Jose Mendoza are accused of torturing and murdering Kenneth Coyle, a 70-year-old Vietnam veteran who had first met Stacy at where she worked as a waitress. Police believe Stacy took advantage of the elderly man who was just looking for people to talk to. As the two became closer, Stacy gained access to Coyle's bank accounts, began receiving money from him, but the situation turned very violent when Mendoza's held Coyle captive and beat him so that he would turn over more financial documents, including the deed to his property and power of attorney. The couple allegedly killed him, rented a U-Haul truck, loaded it with Coyle's body and some of his belongings, and drove to the spot in a nearby county, and then set the body and the other items on fire. Their 3 children allegedly watched the burning take place. As April of 2018 approached, neither Stacy nor Jose Mendoza had yet entered a formal plea to their charges of suspicion of murder, torture, of elderly abuse, child abuse, financial crimes, and among others. So they are being held without bail and awaiting trial, and their children are in the state custody. Find out the twists and turns of the Novak case turned into the series premiere, Deadly Rich. And so these are just but a few accounts of what people will do and how far they will go to become wealthy and cash in on you being dead, and you're worth more dead to some people than you are alive. And so some of these relationships, family situations can turn very deadly based on that. And so with that being said, I just thought people needed to understand that sometimes people get in relationships with you. If you have money, they think they have something to gain from that. And sometimes it isn't about love. It's more about the money. It's more about what they can gain from you financially. And so you might see a lot of more divorces from these relationships. Some of these males that are easy to get involved with these females that they think of whom they're doing something better because they're with them. Sometimes it's the other way around, vice versa. Maybe they feel that male feels, well, I can't get any money out of this black woman. That's a stereotype. And that's probably what some are doing. And they figure that this woman, she's an heiress or she's related to people who have a lot of money. So if something happens to her, I'm going to get a payout. Some of that is what's going on as well. And it can be the other way around. If this guy got a good career, he's got a good pension, he's got a good something to fall or cushion to fall back on, the woman could be with you for those purposes. It's not so much about what you look like, it's what's in your wallet. And so it's not always just based on, oh, the woman. Sometimes there are males that are predatory that prey on older women that figure she's got a lot of money, she's got something to fall back on, and I'm going to give her what she wants. And then if she dies, she can give me what I want. So be careful of these relationships, these fly-by-night relationships, or these individuals you think they like you, but they're really, however, they're in love with your money or what your assets are. You're not being here, then you are here. That being said, thanks for listening. And I'm going to play this video clip at the close of this.
Series Deadly Rich.
Ben was home in bed sleeping. And out of the blue, he was assaulted in his own home. They're on him and tying him up before he can even react. At first, he calls out for help for his wife.
I received a phone call about 2 o'clock in the morning from Ben that he had just gotten untied from being tied up for 25 hours, and that he believed that Narcy had been involved in this home invasion robbery. And I said, well, what makes you think that? And he said, because when he broke into the room, she said, look out, he has a gun on his nightstand.
He could hear Narcy in the background directing these two men where to go for the money that was kept in the house and where the valuables were and what to take. They had a very volatile relationship. Ben had been cheating on Narcy for years, and Narcy could get violent.
Don't miss the series premiere of Deadly Rich from the Produce Feed. CNBC. Get yours.